header icons equals a style div like so. Okay, now inside of the header icons, remember icon button gives us this wicked like clickable floaty sort of look on top of our buttons. So we need two buttons. We need the attach file icon and a more vertical button icon. So these two buttons, right? And then we surround them in that icon button to get that nice clickable effect. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and do the appropriate imports. So I need two different things here. I need the more vertical icon button, and I need the attach file one over here. There we go. And inside of our header icons, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an icon button for each, wrapping it. So I'm going to have icon button like so, right? And then let's go ahead and do this. And oh God, guys, come on, give it a break. Right, so here we're going to say owner, where is it, icon button, like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then pop it in here, oops, okay, and then what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and say, for the icon button, I'm going to basically go ahead and do, the first one is going to be attach file icon, right, so attach file icon, like this, and then the second one is going to be for the more vertical button icon, okay? This will be more vert icon, okay? So we're gonna do this. Now I will quickly go ahead and clean that one up. Let's go ahead and drop that out. Where's it? Ooh, interesting. Where's it? This one is. Guys, come on, keep it clean, please. Like it's hard to already do a live, you know, let alone this. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and refresh. There we go. Nice. And oh, we'll get rid of it. I didn't delete it. There we go. Start delete. Nice. There we go. Easy as. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and style this out, okay? So for the down here, we're going to go ahead and say for the header, we're going to start styling this bit first. Now the header is going to be position sticky because we do want to have, you know, the top elements stick to the top of the page, right? So the style div at this point is going to be Ayman says I learned a lot from you. Thank you, dude, for turning up. Right, position sticky. Right, and then I'm going to say background color of white. So background color of white. Oops, background color of white. Then I'm going to go ahead and say a Z index of 100 because I just want to be 100% absolutely sure that it doesn't, you know, like mess me up when I'm trying to like show it over or something. And I'm going to say top 0 to allow it to stick with this, to allow it to stick to the top with position sticky. Then I want the display flex because I want everything inside of it to be padded. Okay. Padding is 11 pixels as well, so display flex and the padding of 11 pixels. Everything now goes into a line because by default your flex direction is a row. The height is going to be 80 pixels. I'm going to align the item centrally and I'm going to give it a border bottom 1 pixel solid white smoke. There you go. Very nice. Okay. Let's carry on. So Hugo Tech says, kudos bro, you're changing lives, lots of lives here in Nigeria. Thank you so much, man. Honestly, like I really am glad to hear that. Right. The next thing is header information. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say a margin left of 15 pixels. All right. So margin left of 15 pixels like that. It'll push it away a little bit. And I'm going to say flex of 1 because I want this header information to take up the majority of space, which will push these buttons to the right. Okay. So that's really nice when we do it that way. Yes, the GitHub repo comes with Papa Platinum. I recommend if you want to join the Papa fam, 0 to Full Stack Hero, link in the description. Join Papa Platinum. It is the golden package. All right, so it's honestly the best thing you can get. All right, so at this point, I'm going to target the H3 inside and the P tag. So how we can do that is in styled components. It's so easy. We can just say H3, and then we can go ahead and say margin bottom of 3 pixels like so. All right, so you can see it's a very slight adjustment I did. The small things that make it look the final piece, right? And I'm going to say the P tag is going to be a font size of 14. So let's go ahead and say font size of 14. Thank you, tab 9. And I'm going to say color is gray. All my completions today have been tab 9. They've been in clutch, right? So it's really helping us out. Right, so I don't know why this is happening. But if that happens, this is probably because I'm live right now, to be fair. Because the client is offline. Interesting. Okay. So it's probably because we got quite a lot of traffic going to it. But the next thing you want to do is we're going to go over to let's go to the top. We now have the header sort of set a bit, right? We have the header pretty much as we wanted it. So the next thing we want to do is kind of move over to the body. So we're going to call this the message container. Okay. So in here, we're going to go ahead and say message container, like so. Okay, now here we're going to have a function for showing the messages. So here I'll say something like show messages as a function, and then I'm also going to have an end of message, right? End of message, right? Now this is an interesting one. This end of message is just going to be a div at the end of the messages. If you've ever done auto scrolling, you'll know what I'm about to do there afterwards. Okay, so this is going to be something for later. It's going to be a style div, which is going to be pretty much empty, but it allows us to target the end of the messages so that we can auto scroll to the bottom of the page when we type something in. For example, if I'm here and I type in test, and let's go ahead and say like I typed in hello world, notice how it scrolls to the bottom, right? That's because we've got that little trick in place. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that, right? Thank you, Libna. Any plan for a MERN project? Not at the moment, but it depends on demand. Like Next.js was demand, so I moved towards it, okay? Now let's continue on. So we've got this happening. Message container is not defined. So we're going to create message container. That's a simple div. So here I can say const message container equals style div like so. And you can see this will now pop up. Okay. Wait for it. At some point it will pop up. Okay. So there you go. And then you've got, this is starting to look a lot more along these lines. Okay, now over at this point we had a p tag which said last active blah blah blah. Now I'm gonna basically go ahead. Just Tech Sing, thank you so much, dude. What's up? $5 Canadian dollar donation. Yo, this is awesome. Signing late to the build. Excited to learn Next.js. Coffee's on me, bro. Thank you, dude. always appreciate that. Ownerify NFT app stores, guys, dude, give them 0 stars at this point if you're just gonna spam, but please don't do that. Okay. But at this point, what we should do is we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to clean that out. Okay. Thank you so much, Justek. That's incredible, dude. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Right, so let's carry on. So we're going to go ahead and we've got this last scene over here. Now for the H3, the margin bottom was 3 pixels. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and Hashrada says, Sunny, you're on fire. Thank you so much. So where we have the show messages, okay, this is going to be an interesting one. So this is where the magic kind of is going to happen, okay. So show messages is actually a very powerful function, and what it's going to do is first it's going to show you the data that comes through from server-side render, which means that immediately when you land on the page, you're going to see some chat, right? But then what we want to do is we want to make a real-time connection on the client to Firestore, so that way we have the real-time feedback. The minute that's available, because the keys are the same on the chat list, it swaps. So we have the server-side rendered content initially, and then it swaps for the real-time content, which means that when we start chatting further on, you're going to see a real-time feedback, which means that you get the benefit of when you come onto the page and not having to wait for a bit of chat to be seen. And then when you immediately start chatting with someone, you're going to get the real-time functionality of it. So best of both worlds, server-side rendering and client-side at its finest. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to take a quick water break. Wow. My notes and coffee is on. This is crazy. 202, but almost 3 hours. Keep proud of yourself. Thank you so much, man. And we nearly have 1,400 likes, so please smash that thumbs up button. We still have a little bit left, guys, so come on, get your coffee, get your energy up. We're going to keep on going until we absolutely destroy this stream, okay? So let's keep on going. Right, now for this chat screen, right, so what I'm going to do is for the show messages, at the top I'm going to say const show messages. And this is going to be an anonymous function which will simply return some JSX. But in this case, what I'm going to do is actually have a little bit of logic involved in it here, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to say I need to firstly map and get the messages, okay? So we're going to use the use collection, right? So we're going to use the use. Cesar, that actually meant a lot, dude. So thank you so much for that kind comment, because it's those little comments that are very handy when you when you start getting to this point. So that's awesome, dude. Okay, so let's go ahead and carry on. So here we've got the show messages. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and say where we've got show messages. I'm going to go ahead and do if messages snapshot like so. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and say show messages return. And then this is going to say, oh wait, sorry, I need to go up to my use collection. There we go. Use collection over here. There we go. Nice. Right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the following. So I'm going to say Where is it? Hey, my girlfriend's in the house. There you go. She texted me saying, "Are you done yet?" And I was like, "No, yeah. I didn't reply, but that's why." So we're gonna say const messages, right? So messages snapshot, messages, right? And then equals use collection messages. So you see how good that was, right? It automatically populated it for me. I sent you an iMessage and realized you're busy. Yeah, that's fine. So we can say DB. I'm going to import DB from our local Firebase, right? So I'm going to just full screen this. DB.firebase, and then we're going to say DB.collection. And this is going to go into the chats that we sort of set up earlier, right? So DB collection of chats. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the doc, and this is the interesting part, okay? So remember, the route that we're in is going to depend on the chat that we're showing, right? So in this case, we've got the chat / some ID, okay? So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go into the root params to get that ID. So I'm going to go here, doc, and I'm going to say router.params, right? So router.params.id, right? So I'm sure it was router. No, it's not router.params, it's router.query, sorry, .id. And that will give me the route that we're currently on, okay? I gave these Onify guys 1 star in the App Store. Dude, I know, they're asking for 1 star, yeah? So at this point, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say .collection, right? So .collection, and I'm going to go ahead and say go into the messages, okay? For a chat, and then I'm going to order by the timestamp, okay? So order by timestamp, and then we're going to do by ascending, right? And hit save. Okay, so I'll show you guys this in a very simple nutshell. So here you go, you get the chats. It's going to go into the specific chat based on the route, go into the messages and order them by timestamp. Okay, so this will give us all the messages that we will have in a given chat. Okay, now once we have that, basically in the show messages function, I'm going to say if we have the messages snapshot. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to return those messages. Okay, so I'm going to return the messages snapshot, right? .map, right? Then what we're going to do is I'm going to go into that and say message like this, and then I'm going to have an open bracket like this, and then I'm going to have the message being rendered on the screen. Okay, so each individual message is going to be its own component because that will make the whole thing a lot more reusable, easier to go ahead and use it. Okay, so at this point I'm going to say message, okay, and then basically at this point we would pass in a bunch of props here, right? So I'm going to pass in a few things here. So I'm going to pass in the key, right? I'm going to pass in the key. And this is going to be the message.id. And we're not using the server-side rendered content yet, okay? Bear that in mind, right? We're going to be going ahead and using that in a sec. But here I'll say the user is going to be the message.data.user, and then the final thing here, so the message is basically going to be an object, right? Now the object that I'm going to pass in here is going to be message.data. So we're going to spread everything from the message, and then I'm going to get the timestamp. And remember, we did that conversion, right? We did the conversion previously on the timestamp to make it sort of, you know, like a Unix from the server side rendered stuff. So I'm going to convert the stuff that comes over from Firebase and the client to Unix timestamp, so that way we have consistency regardless of where we get the data from. And then here I'll say toDate like this. And if you've done server-side rendering before, that would have made sense. But if that wasn't something that made sense, then that, you know, it's going to sort of confuse you a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit save, and we got the message. Now I need to create this message component, so I'm going to go over here, go into my message.js like so, and then I'm going to do _RFCE. Okay, we're moving at